I'll call the regular Dickinson County Commission meeting for April 4th, 2024 order. Please stand for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I make a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of the agreement for the recovery court.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda, minutes of the 28th meeting, expenditures of $434,635.86, SD security of $4,731.00, and checks of $11,027.42, and abatements of $514.04.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. The hand checks were for the jury trial, I'm assuming.
Jury trial witnesses and election workers.
That means they don't have more than $100 worth of hand checks.
Right.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Commission comments and committee reports. Ron?
No comments this morning.
Lynn?
I plan on attending the QLC showcase meeting. They have a community kitchen at Sterl Hall, and that's going to be 3:30 to 6 this afternoon. So I do plan to attend that. And then also I attended our highway district meeting, was held at McPherson. And so I attended that along with others from Dickinson County. That was yesterday.
And all wrong, Lynn?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I also attended the Commission Highway District 2 meeting. It was interesting to see the building has been probably 100 years old. They've repurposed it into an event center stuff and left a lot of the original fixtures and stuff in the building and really upgraded it. At our work session, we did talk the solids management plan, waste plan. We had the Dickinson County compensation policy. We're going to be looking at that. Hard, I guess would be the word to put. And then April Swartz was here with Marty Associate to complete the audit. That's all I have. Presentation of proclamations, petitions, under comments. Proclamation declaring April 2024 Assault Awareness Month. White, NG White from DVAC.
Okay. Yeah, 2024 Sexual Assault Awareness Month proclamation. Whereas April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, sexual violence is a widespread, preventable public health problem in Kansas. And whereas sexual violence is a sexual act that is perpetrated against someone's will, which includes sexual assault, rape, unwanted touching, threatened sexual violence, and verbal sexual harassment. And all types of sexual violence involves victims who do not consent or who are unable to consent or who refuse to allow the act. And whereas 1 in 2 women and nearly 1 in 3 men experience some form of contact sexual violence in their lifetimes. Whereas in 2023, 1 incident of rape was reported to Kansas law enforcement every 8 hours. And whereas these statistics do not represent the true prevalence of sexual violence due to underreporting, and sex offenders often target people they perceive as vulnerable, less powerful, or less credible. And whereas the offender is known to the victim in the mass majority of cases, 78.5% in Kansas. And whereas the effects of sexual violence can be felt directly after or for many months or years later. And confusion, anger, sadness, shame, guilt, helplessness, hopelessness, and self-blame are all common reactions to sexual violence. And whereas the Domestic Violence Association of Central Kansas, also known as DVAC, provides 24/7, 365 free and confidential services to victims of sexual violence in the city of Salina, Kansas. And whereas DVAC advocates are available 24/7 at 785-827-5862 or toll free at 1-800-874-1499. Now therefore, the Dickinson County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim the month of April 2024 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
All right, motion to approve 2024.
I would make that motion.
I'll second it. I'll second it. Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Would like to, I guess, ask, I don't want to get too personal, how many people do you serve and stuff like that, just roughly?
Oh, boy. Thousands.
Thousands, okay.
Yes. And, we want it to go away, but it's not. It's getting worse, with the technology and everything, especially with the younger folks, with sextortion. There's a lot of blackmailing going on with the kids. And, then you run into a whole other slew of issues, like suicide and different things like that. And so we're in the colleges, we're getting in the grade schools, middle schools to educate them on that. They think it's fun, they think it's a game until, someone's wanting money or threatening to put it all over the internet and everything, and it just totally destroys a lot of lives. But yeah, we have seen a great increase, especially with sexual assault. And also, like, I was here in January for Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and that's going crazy as well, as we all know. It's insane.
We have the motion before us. All those in favor of the SAM proclamation, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried.
How does your program reach into Dickinson County, or what type of networking?
We serve a 10-county area, and Dickinson County is involved in that. And so through the Sheriff's Department, Police Department, anywhere, we come to court all the time here, like for PFAs and protection from abuse, protection from stalking orders. We get a lot from Dickinson County, and Harrington, is really big. So usually they just call our office and we do what we call an intake with them. And then that enables us, through our grantors, to work with them. It's totally confidential. We can help with food. We can help with clothing, if needed, transportation, individual counseling, safety planning. We have a safe shelter that if they need to get to that, they can. We are pet friendly as well. And a lot of the times the abusers were threatened to kill an animal or hurt an animal if they leave. And so they can bring that animal with them. It's strictly to cats and dogs, though. People want to bring in other things. And so, yes. And, we provide, of course, shelter, food, clothing for them, hygiene stuff, everything. We also go to court with them, and we actively work with all of them. And that's in shelter and outreach. And so they can have the same services throughout their whole life. We're always there for them. So we have support groups too that they come to. So
We need to run a copy of this for her.
Can we just have you sign this one too? And then that way we'll have an official one for both parties.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your work.
Oh, you're very welcome.
That help you with that.
Yeah. I've been through all that myself. So giving back, so yes.
Sorry that you had to do that, but thank you.
Yeah, it's life. All right. Thank you so
Thank you very much.
Have a good afternoon.
Next proclamation is declaring April is County Government Month. I'll read it.
You'll read it?
Yeah. Well, I'll read it. Highlight it. Proclamation declaring April is National County Government Month. Whereas in our nation, 3,068 counties provide a vast variety of essential services public services to communities serving 100 million Americans. And whereas Dickinson County, as do all counties, take very seriously the responsibility to protect, enhance the health, welfare, and safety of our communities using reliable, sensible, cost-effective ways. And whereas county governments are an integral part of the American healthcare system and are unique in their responsibility both financially and deliver health services throughout the local health departments, clinics, mental health services, and substance abuse programs and coverage programs for the uninsured and elderly. Whereas county employees provide the health insurance benefit to nearly 3 million employees and their retirees nationwide. Whereas the National Association of County is one of the national organizations that represents counties government in the United States. Whereas since 1991, the National Association of Counties has encouraged counties across the country to actively promote county government programs and services to raise public awareness and understanding about the roles and responsibilities of the nation's counties to meet the demands and needs of our communities. And whereas the National County Association of Dickinson County are working together to restore, maintain the partnership among all levels of government to better serve our community. Therefore, they resolve that the Dickinson County Commission does hereby proclaim the month of April 2024 as National County Government Month and encourage all county officials, employees, citizens, and residents to become aware of the services that their county governments provide to them and participate in the county government awareness and celebration activities. I hereby proclaim this on the 4th day of April 2024.
I would move that we adopt that proclamation of April as County Government Day.
Months.
I'll second it.
Day and month, yeah.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Anybody else in the audience that'd like to make comments?
Do you,
Morning, Horace Jenkins, 1200 Avenue, Hope, Kansas. Thank you for having me today before the commission. I'm here today to ask exactly where do we sit with this wind turbine proposal today? Where is it at?
We're not going to comment. We're just here to hear your comments.
We have no formal application.
Sorry.
There's no formal application to us.
So they were requesting a conditional use permit be issued on first quarter of 2024. Has that been issued?
No.
And when can the citizens address zoning? Is that where it's sitting now at zoning?
They haven't presented anything to the zoning board,
So it's just out in the air right now, sitting.
as far as I know.
Can,
they haven't formally,
could she just kind
Yeah,
of, this is
they
the
haven't-
timeline.
Yeah, it hasn't been formally
procedure.
presented to the CP, to the planning and zoning.
right. So it'll go to the planning and zoning board first, and they will have a public hearing after they have that.
That will be announced. That
It will be,
public-
yes.
So on March 28th, when I was in here on that day, they had spoke about an Abilene ordinance, a city ordinance. Abilene had imposed a city ordinance protecting windmills from coming in on the town of Abilene. As citizens of the rural area, we're asking no more. Homeowners, we don't want these onslaught of turbines upon us. We're wanting to be protected. That's all we're asking. On that day, there was approximately 300 documents turned into you guys. Have any of you guys reviewed any of those documents or those documents today?
They're sitting in my office, and I will be scanning them and making sure that they're available for the commission to look at.
Because I was going to talk about the offset and view shed in one of those documents, but if they haven't been reviewed, we can come back to that later. And then I have a question about the comprehensive planning committee. They developed any contingency plan to run rural water to this area where the turbines are going in at? Should our water become contaminated or our wells go dry, because of the already overtaxed system. The veins are already taxed. We're in a drought. That's just one of the many questions as a homeowner we have. We're fearful. We're going to be holding a lot of bags. That's just one of them. And I would like to relate to an article that was published by the Kansas Reflector Chronicle. That's a public article. You can see that. That was a media release. It was related to Cheyenne Bottoms, and it was about solar panels. But the interesting thing about that whole article when you read it was community involvement. Yeah, they didn't make the solar panels go away, but everybody came together and worked for a solution. And that's what we're asking. Everybody work for a solution. Let those rural homeowners that's going to have four turbines sitting in their view shed, let them have a say so. And when you go buy a new vehicle, I'm going to ask you this question. You already decide what options you want on that vehicle. GPS, whatever, electric windows, whatever. So why are we letting an industry tell us what product we're getting? Why are we letting them set the terms of what product the citizens of this county are going to have? We should be the ones setting the terms. A nearby county changed the offset from the manufactured recommendation to protect their homes and the community. Now's the time for us to be decisive and make sound decisions and set the ground rules before we open this gate. If you drive down 35 South, Oklahoma, the first thing you see when you come in there is turbines. Look for homes around them. That's all I ask. Look for homes around them. You won't see any. In your comprehensive plan, you talk about the rural quality of life, and that's a quote right out of your plan. That's all we're asking. Preserve that. Protect that out there in the country for us guys. We want to be protected like the citizens of Abilene. I understand this enormous burden placed upon you to make this decision. And this decision can affect this county for up to 40 years because I hold a contract here in front of me. What we're asking as homeowners out there with all these turbines going around us is please do diligence and protect us all. Thank you for having me today.
Thanks for comments. Anybody on the internet? No?
Nobody is wishing to speak on the internet, no?
Moving on, report of county officer, Janelle.
Commissioners, as the sheriff mentioned, dispatch, emergency management, quite a few first responders, including the Harrington PD, the Harrington Fire Department, EMS, and Chapman Police Department participated in a mock injury accident drill at the Hope Schools. It is very well received, and I hope that the students took away a lot from that. So that was good. There is also a severe weather meeting tonight at the community center in Harrington at 7 p.m. Concrete has been poured at the bridge at 1022 Old 40, so they are moving along with that. Hopefully pretty quickly they'll have that completed. We still have a few more weeks of it. First Road, 1145 First Road, the bridge, the dirt work is almost complete. And then obviously we'll have the approaches to finish. They'll have to seed and have it inspected by KDOT since that was a cost share program with KDOT. So they'll have to pass those requirements there. But they have till May 13th is what they're predicting they'll be completed by.
And also give the contract for them to epoxy it.
Yes.
So they're going to do that before they open it up, probably.
They should, yes. Yeah. The health department is interviewing for the open nurse position. So we did fill the contract foot care nurse position, but we still have a nurse there. And like you had mentioned before, we have our defensive driving class today for county employees. And then, as we mentioned, the North Central Highway Association meeting yesterday, I thought was very helpful, was informative, and took away some things that the state is doing, which affects us all as usual. So that's all I would have, unless you have any questions for me.
Ron, Lynn? Mr. Thompson?
I don't have anything to report right now. The court system is handling the cases that's in front of them, and the individuals who are on the court-appointed list are doing a good job keeping up. And so that part's all I have. Thank you.
And notices and communications, we had the Kansas Prosecution Magazine in the mail, and that's all we had from there. There was nothing on the internet for us. Introduction of resolutions, consideration of resolutions, we have none. Unfinished business, none. Other business, approve the purchase of the core cut concrete saw for the highway department. No?
Commissioners, the highway department has used a core cut concrete saw for quite a few years, and the one that we have is no longer functioning. The other piece of that is they were only using a 14 by 20 7/8 saw, and they found that that is not working as well as they would like. They'd have to make multiple cuts. They can't get enough. So they went out for bid and received three bids. One for a core cut C2500 14 by 26 maximum blade capacity with a cutting depth of 10 3/8 inches. And that's at $13,504.68. They also went ahead and requested bids on the same size of saw that we're currently using. So we have a comparison, a core cut CC 1300 XL at 14 inches and 14 by 20 inch maximum blade capacity and a maximum cutting depth of 7 5/8. That's $4,219.12. And the Hexavarna FS 400, which is a walk behind 20 inch concrete saw with a cutting depth of 7 5/8 for $2,576.52. Hexavarna is new to the game, so it was nice that they bid, but I don't think that's a saw that they're interested in. And like I said, the saw that they have currently is the cutting depth of 7 5/8. That's not meeting the needs. So they're requesting and recommending the Tools Direct 14 by 26 inch concrete saw for replacement at the $13,504.68.
You might mention why they're wanting to cut full depth.
It just, the concrete,
So you can break it off.
break it off. Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions for Janelle? If not, I have a motion to approve the recommendation to the county for the core cut CC 2500 14 by 26 maximum cutting depth 26 inches. Maximum cutting depth
I'll make that motion.
for $13,504.68. I'll second it. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Approve the 2023 audit from Barney and Associates, Janelle or Marcus.
You want to touch on a little bit?
Marcus Rothschild, Assistant County Administrator, Finance Director. I was happy to report today. April Schwartz was able to present during the study session. Her and Kenley and all the other associates of the Barneys that worked on our audit, they came in and we've been working with them for the past couple months, sharing information, and they have reviewed our entire 2023 financial statements. And I am happy to report that it was a clean audit. They didn't have any overall concerns. They do a really good job of working with all the departments and reviewing all the information. They take a look at our full general ledger. And so every single transaction that goes through the county in the year, they have the opportunity to take that information and search it in different ways so they can make sure that we're meeting all the needs and statutes and following all the regulations that we need to for our financials. So at this point, I recommend you approve the 2023 financial statement.
Ron, Wayne, any questions for Marcus?
No.
I'll approve the audits of Barney and Associates, and I don't remember we had a cost on that.
It is
Yeah,
19,000 and some for annually, I believe.
I don't think it's not on running over paperwork.
Not yet.
Okay, well.
It'll be on the,
Bills will be presented.
correct.
A motion that, we have a second for that?
Second.
I'm sorry. Ron seconded.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Trade in the purchase of a Ford Explorer for the sheriff's office. Janelle?
Commissioners, as you know, the sheriff had visited with you briefly about the issues that we've been having with the Dodge Durangos. The other thing that the undersheriff had mentioned to me was that the trade-in value on a Charger, once it exceeds 80,000 miles, goes down considerably. They have one that they use for interdiction that is at 74,000 miles. And with the issues that they're having with the Durangos, they are very concerned that that's going to continue. In fact, we've had 4 in the shop lately, and obviously that takes them off the road, and that's not a position that they want to be in. So they have a proposal from SERV. This is the Superior Emergency Response Vehicles that they have been working with regularly to outfit their vehicles or purchase their vehicles from. And they have a 2024 Ford Explorer, which is a police package system, and they can install all of our equipment on that. And they're asking that we would be able to trade the Dodge Charger in at $11,500, and that leaves a balance of $47,699.38 to replace it with that. And that includes all of the equipment and work. So, and this money would come out of asset forfeiture for this. And it's a chance for them to test out the Ford Explorers when we get ready to look at budgets for next year and planning for replacement vehicles.
I'd go ahead and authorize that we use this trade-in to purchase the Ford Explorer for the sheriff's department, and funding is what was outlined.
I'll second it. I do have a question though, that this does include everything being transferred over from the one we're taking down.
If it's not transferable, it will be a new purchase that would go in for the equipment, because sometimes it just doesn't fit within the specs there.
So we're doing fitness space that's available in the.
Correct.
Okay. Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Solid waste management plan approval.
Commissioners, annually, there is a solid waste committee that reviews the solid waste plan that the county has for the operation of our transfer station. And that includes one of our commissioners, that happens to be Craig, myself, a representative from the city of Enterprise, which is Paul Freilich, Diane Greeno is a representative of the unincorporated areas. Tim Hamilton is our zoning director. Kevin Miller is a representative of the private solid waste management industry through HAMS. Derek Norick is our environmental services director. Leo Schlesner with a representative from the city of Harrington, and Lon Schrader currently is representing the city of Abilene, but that will probably change. So annually, we review the plan and take a look at the geographics, the like I said, geography. We also look at the waste composition. We look at the current facilities that provide resources to handle waste, the various vendors that we utilize, the C&D piece of it, which we no longer have one operating in the county. We direct them where they need to go, and then review the amount of waste that has been collected. So this is a somewhat of a housekeeping matter that we have to submit this annually to KDHE. So we're asking that you approve the annual review of the solid waste management plan so we can send it in.
I'll make a motion to accept the solid waste management plan.
Second. Any other questions for Janelle? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Future meetings and agenda items, the Quality of Life Coalition Showcase Food Kitchen from 3:30 to 6 p.m. tonight. The groundbreaking ceremony of the 21st Street Housing Development in Abilene, 10 a.m., April 9th. We will be meeting the Kansas County Commissioner Association at a spring conference in Pittsburgh, April 16th through the 18th. Since Ron and I aren't attending, we'll be meeting with Marcus that day. So we'll have a regular meeting. The County Department of Leadership Retreat is going to be at all 4 seasons, April 22nd, starting at 7:45. And we're going to be having a regional county commission meeting in Junction City Opera House, April 22nd, at 5:30 that evening. And then there will be a special commission meeting, canvass the election of 435, April 25th, 2024. at 9:30. And what's not on here is, we'll probably, I'm not sure all will be attending, but there'll be a High Plains Resources open house. And they are exploring an exploration company that's focused on finding geological hydrogen in the region. Well done.
Sure.
Good call.
I'll second it.
Moving second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Adjourned.